let's go ahead and give our thoughts on how this is going to affect the future. Then we're going to transition over to the dark side of what we have for modern women. So I'll say this. Here's my prediction, and then I'll go to Fresh, and then Rolla, you can can it off, and then we'll go into the next topic. I don't think much is going to change. No. And what's going to happen is, I think, for guys that are, for women out there that are like casually having sex or whatever it may be, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, maybe, because their insurance might not necessarily cover birth control, or they might not. It might be a little bit harder to get an IUD or whatever else. But in general, I don't think it's going to change much. The party girls that are out here fucking and sucking and everything else like that, they're going to continue to use Plan Bs. They're going to continue to do the IUDs. They're going to continue to do what they got to do to be able to live their best life. And these are women that we know typically from the numbers that are higher earning anyway. Okay. And then you got the girls that we know that make less money or whatever. They're more prone to have children. So I don't think too much is going to change, especially since 50% of the United States is still going to allow abortions to a degree. So if you live in an area where abortion isn't allowed, okay, you will be able to travel. Now, who I think this is going to hurt the most is women that are in that middle ground area. What do I mean by that middle ground area? I think women that are in that area where they're making like 30 to maybe 50, 60K per year is going to put them in a weird spot, because they can't necessarily just pop down to the clinic down the street and pay for it. They're going to have to actually travel and put some resources into it if they make it to that level where they actually have to go and do a formal abortion. But all the emergency contraceptives, Plan B, whatever it may be, I doubt they're going to touch those. And the people out there that, are talking, because there's a lot of misconceptions. Oh my God, Roe v. Wade, they're going to take away the emergency contraceptives, Plan Bs are gone, whatever. Does this open a door for them to potentially take it away? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. The only person that even mentioned this or uttered that was Clarence Thomas, right? And he's probably one of the most conservative justices on there, but a lot of people there, he don't necessarily agree with him. So I don't think contraceptives are going to be affected. People are still going to be able to do what they need to do. Birth control, etc., is probably going to still be widely available. It's just that for those people that don't plan ahead and don't take a Plan B or don't use contraceptives and get pregnant, and then they find out a couple months later that they're pregnant, that's what's going to fuck up the most. Those people that are in that middle ground of socioeconomic status where they just have enough money to kind of live somewhat of a hot girl summer, but they don't have enough money to necessarily travel interstate to go ahead and get an abortion if they live in a state that doesn't offer it, it's going to fuck them up. But I don't think it's in general, it's going to change the sexual marketplace that much. So for you guys out there that are saying these girls are going to have to stop being hoes, blah, 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 it ain't gonna change.
Trust me, they're not gonna start making you toast. Yeah, they're not gonna start cleaning your house.
This is just my prediction, guys. Who knows? But that's what I think is not gonna affect too much, because we're still gonna have the emergency contraception.
Here's my prediction, right?
Okay, tell me.
And this is experience talking as well, being in the field. So from what I can see, most girls anyway go to the guy to pay the abortion bill. They either pay for the actual surgery itself or for the pill itself. Yeah. My thing is, what's gonna happen is,
hell, I've done it.
Those guys are gonna have to pay more money, because either they got to pay for the travel, pay for the accommodation. Because think about it, right? If the guy at that value, for the most part, because women are hypergamous, they'll probably choose the best guy that they can. The guy that they choose should have some resources. You know what, babe? Oh, I'm pregnant. He's like, hell no, get rid of it. So he'll pay for the flight, pay for the hotel, pay for maybe the surgery or whatever, and he'll have to pay more money. That's what I think is gonna happen in the future. Because right now, bro, think about it. Most girls that are broke, they ain't paying for it. You go to some other dude. So that's what I think. And then secondly, regarding women having the right to contraceptives, look, there may be some more IUDs, some more patches, whatever. Because you know what? I save time and money. I'll do this instead. So it's a give and take, but responsibility wise, man, they can do whatever they want.
It's gonna. I would say it's gonna make more women proactive in the front end. It's gonna make them be prepared to either take a Plan B or make you wear a condom and or be. Or maybe they'll pick a better guy that
they'll be very careful about who they have sex with unprotected now.
Yeah,
on some level.
Especially if they live in a state that is that's not going to allow for abortion. But if you live in like a New York or a Massachusetts or a California, bro, these bitches ain't going. I was just saying,
imagine you're a woman and you want to get an abortion and you're like 2 states away from an abortion state. Now you got to fly across.
Girls in like Illinois are fucked. Like the entire Midwest essentially is about to make it where abortion's illegal.
I'll say this. I'll end with this: is that I think that on November 9th, you'll hear crickets. That'll be just No, you will not hear anything else about this, simply because this is a midterm election. They're ramping this up because they want to, at the very least, whether they rig the elections or they don't rig the elections, they still want that mass hysteria. And this is the topic, the emotionally charged, I guess, meta message between now and the election and now the midterm elections. Okay. So this is just, honestly, I think this is just to sort of power that hysteria up until that point. That's number one. The other thing is I think that once we get up to that point, you'll see that some smart guy along the way, because all you ladies, if you really want an abortion to be in the Constitution, guess what? Petition your senators or whoever's your lawmakers, have them draw up the law, say, we want to put an amendment in the Constitution. And I know that requires you to actually learn something about civics. Was it the bill on Capitol Hill and in Schoolhouse Rock back in the day? Go watch those things from the 70s and you'll figure out how to do this. But you can actually do this. You can say, I propose that we want to have abortion as a federal law. We want to add it to the Constitution. Somebody's probably I would argue somebody's probably already figured that stuff out. They're going to find some way to sort of reverse this. I don't know how legally, I don't know how that's going to happen, but that reversal will probably happen between now and November 8th, or like right after November 8th. And it's like, yay, we won. It's like wag the dog meets, social media kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that I think this will be a great big nothing burger by the time we get to November.
Possibly.
But but between now and then, we're amping everything up, and we want the emotions and we want the charged, like the feels before reels going off. The other thing I wanted to point out really quickly here is that one of the things you're going to get, and I've already seen this argument on Twitter. So, because a lot of guys are like, how do I respond to this? How do I respond to this? One of the things that women will bring up, and I've heard with female politicians say this, like, what law is there that controls a man's body? Right? What is it? Because here we have abortion and men want to control women's bodies. What law is out there that will control a man's body? And of course, the natural response is, selective services does. Signing up for selective services, it's actually almost worse than abortion if you think about it, because it puts you in harm's way. It literally, if you would have to sacrifice your life, and you're actually choosing which service you want to die in. Should you be called up for duty in an active war or something like that? And furthermore, women go, I'm against war. And if women were running the country, we wouldn't have any wars. And of course, you have this emotion versus emotion. But here's the facts is if you are, as a man, if you don't sign up for selective service, in some states, you can't get a driver's license. You cannot vote. You cannot hold elective office. You
can't get a federal job.
You can't get a federal job.
Federal loans.
And you cannot get federal loans. You can't get student financial aid. And then, and you cannot become a citizen. I didn't realize that until I did this. I did the homework on this.
Well, you can get fined by quite a bit of money.
And if you are and by the way, jail time up to 5 years or $250,000.
Yep.
So let's deal. You want to talk about unfair laws that control men's bodies? Let's bring it. Bring it.